I want to talk to you about where Bitcoin might go next, because this chart that I'm going to show you later on in the YouTube video projects a 20% drop for Bitcoin, and there are some really good reasons to expect that. It actually goes way deeper than what you probably already think about Bitcoin right now. But before we do get into that, let's actually look at what's been going on over here, because within this market, with the current market conditions that we've been seeing, Bitcoin managed to top out at pretty much exactly $38,000, which is absolutely fantastic. And since then, we've seen a little bit of a pullback. And this is fine. This is standard procedure. A lot of people I'm seeing now across the space, and we will look at the 4Flies dashboard to see what the numbers say as well, but a lot of people that I'm seeing across the space right now are very bearish on this market. It actually is hard to find people that are still bullish on the market, just in terms of what I'm reading on Twitter. Obviously, the fear and greed index does sometimes represent different things here, because we are still sitting up high at 69, and obviously the fear and greed index is it's not my metric. It's actually from this website here, alternative.me. And it takes into account many different data sources, but it is a good indication of where the market could be, as well as also the long and short ratio. And what we are seeing is that, yeah, Binance retail traders are still majority long and so on. So it does seem to be the high IQ smart people, in my experience, that are saying that this market needs to be ready for a drop. But when all of the smart people agree with the same hypothesis, that's not, I know it sounds right, but that's not how it typically works in my experience as a trader. So everything I'm saying here with a pinch of salt, and I'm going to tell you what that pinch of salt is again in this YouTube video as well. If you are excited for it, do me a favor and smash up the likes on this YouTube video as you are coming in. I do also want to give a very quick shout out to the exchanges that are sponsoring this YouTube video today. These guys are offering you guys over $196,000 in bonuses, which is absolutely crazy when you sign up using the links down below. Bybit is going to give you up to 30K in free trading capital that you get when you start trading using my link down below. And CoinW, you don't even need to start trading. You just need to open up a futures account using my link, and they're going to give you a free $50 trading bonus. So again, that is capital you can deploy back into the market. If you deposit $100 and make any trade of any amount, you get another $100 for free to trade with as well. A beautiful no KYC exchange with some really aggressive offers to give you guys a nice kind of taster of their exchange. Great option, well worth considering. And BingX also giving you access to traditional finance. But let's come back here and talk about what we were seeing, because Bitcoin was in a bit of a sideways trading range that looked something a little bit like this for the last couple of days. I mean, since we got up here, the last 5 days, and we've now dropped out of it. And really the best case scenario that we can hope for with Bitcoin is that we end up just kind of finding support on some of these previous highs that we had over here, and then we kind of bounce and flip them. Another definite possibility for Bitcoin, which I wouldn't rule out, is that Bitcoin could actually just be continuing this parallel channel, right? Let's not rule that out as well. Obviously, I haven't drawn it perfectly, but we did see more or less Bitcoin just kind of respecting this kind of parallel channel right here for the market. And it could just be that, this midpoint was an area of resistance, potentially has been an area of support in recent days, but we could be headed down back to this area of support. So, things are not that bad from these perspectives to me. Obviously we hit a zone which we expected a lot of resistance at. I mean, this yellow line has been here for a long time, and it's been here for a reason. We were definitely expecting that this is going to be where Bitcoin might encounter some problems, and that's because this was an area where Bitcoin was finding a lot of support back in 2022, but let's not be mistaken, also a fair bit of resistance. So along this $37,500 line, no surprise that Bitcoin has been struggling a little bit since we came up here. But to me, that kind of thing is only bullish. That kind of thing is only positive, because what it means is that we've blasted through the areas that we expect to blast through, and now we're struggling at the areas we expect to struggle at. And that tells you nothing else other than the fact that we are still in a healthy market. And that's what I'm seeing. I don't know if I'd say that's a fact. That would be very American of me. And I'm not American, so I'm not going to impose my opinions as facts on people. But I do certainly think that we do have a situation here in this market where we are behaving very well, even for an uptrend, especially for an uptrend. We are behaving very, very well. You want to see pullbacks like this. You want to see the market kind of slowing down when you reach these kind of areas of resistance. You want to see that we reach an area of resistance and then we only manage to really break it, a whole 2 weeks later, for example. So we're doing the right thing here. I'm liking what I'm seeing. And, in line with that, I mean, we've still got support really far away from the current market structure. Take a look at this. I'll show you this right now. with the daily EMA ribbon here. Definitely something that I like to take quite seriously with my analysis in this market. The daily EMA ribbon is continuing to inch up higher towards this price action while the price continues to move down as well, which is absolutely fantastic. We're definitely seeing that, we're coming closer into these magnetic zones, and it lines up with a really good price area for Bitcoin. We're starting to get this EMA ribbon support building up at that $35,000 area, which is a really good price level for Bitcoin. Alternatively, if we look at this on the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud, we have brilliant support down at this line as well. So really a lot going in Bitcoin's favor as far as I'm concerned, as we start to drop a little bit lower down in this market. That's only on the 4-hour time frame. If we look at this on the daily, we have massive daily Ichimoku support starting at about $31,500, which is absolutely fantastic because, again, this is exactly where Bitcoin was topping out at over this entire year. We were struggling massively at this price level. When we first hit it, we couldn't even start trending back up for a whole basically 2 months off memory. Yes, 62 days until we even started to move back up again, and that failed too. And then again, it was another 60 days that the market was sent down into the crypto abyss. I mean, absolutely, horrible, big price drops coming off this level, and now look at where our support is building. So we've got a lot of confluence that's actually starting to build up in this range. We've got that daily Ichimoku cloud, but we've also got this pre-existing horizontal area that we already knew about. We've also got some other really big levels that I want to show you, specifically a massive Fibonacci retracement that could actually be very, very useful for Bitcoin. Let me go ahead and show that to you guys right here on this chart. And this to me is a really big deal. What we're actually seeing is that, we could have a little bit of support right here. This is where Bitcoin is topping out at. But if we do manage to get a bigger drop, this is going to put us right in line with that 0.382 Fibonacci retracement, which is a very big deal for Bitcoin, in my opinion. It is definitely something which, I think can be very useful for Bitcoin in terms of finding support. And if we do find support there, that's just going to line up with those previous price levels that we were already discussing right here on this YouTube video. So I'm really liking the look of what I'm seeing right here. On the note of things that I'm liking the look of what I'm seeing, Bitcoin with this kind of cool down has also given the altcoin market a chance to rally. We can get an overview of that by looking at the Bitcoin dominance, which has seen a sharp drop, at least compared to the recent drops we've had over the last 3 weeks. And that's translated to a lot of strength in the altcoin market. Ethereum has finally managed to get some pumps up, which is absolutely fantastic. Although, like I said, I'm very bearish on Ethereum compared to Bitcoin. I think that Ethereum against the dollar is probably going to be okay, but Ethereum against Bitcoin, and this is the much more important equation, to me, I'm just seeing a dead cat bounce. That's really what I'm seeing. If we take a look at this, this is exactly where Ethereum found resistance before, and it found resistance here twice until it blew up and basically reclaimed those highs, but didn't actually reclaim those highs because it didn't go above them, but it did get back up to those highs, so that's cool, I guess. But Ethereum didn't do anything with that, and now we're down at the same level again. I mean, if you're expecting the same thing to happen again where Ethereum just blows up, then fair enough. I can understand why you might think that. But from my perspective, as somebody that's kind of seen this kind of thing happen a lot before, if you fall down to a horrible level like this, and you really do lose a very strong area of support, and you stay below it, and then you come back down to the same level again, that is not a good thing. It is exceedingly rare that you do a rare thing and then do the same rare thing again. That just doesn't really happen in my experience, from the observations that I've made as a trader for 6.5 years. And, to me, that definitely indicates that, there could be some further downside for Ethereum here. And that actually, more importantly, this could be an interesting level to start offloading some Ethereum in favor of Bitcoin. Now, if Ethereum does manage to break this level, then it's probably going to pump a lot harder up to this next area of resistance at 0.062. Right now, we're at 0.56. So we're not too far away. I don't know, call it like 10% away. It's not horrible. certainly within reach, but at the same time, it would be a big jump for Ethereum. And the reason that I'm bringing all of this up to you guys is because if Ethereum pulls something like this off, that's probably going to translate to strength across the wider altcoin market. One of the coins that we've seen performing really well is, of course, TRX. Take a look at this against the dollar here. We managed to top out at 11 cents, which is absolutely crazy. And if we do take a look at this against the dollar, by the way, guys, Voss water is so far above all the other water I've ever drank in my life, ever. It's just, this is my favorite thing about being a crypto trader, is that I can afford Voss water. Absolutely fat. We take water for granted. I used to drink tap water from London, for fuck's sakes. But if we take a look at TRX against Bitcoin, we have been in an incredibly strong position. Now, overall, it's horrible. It's so low and it's got so much resistance. But this, if anything, is a chart that excites me, and I'll tell you why. Is because on this very macro view, we know that this box is heavy resistance for TRX, but because it was heavy support for TRX back in 2018, by the way, 2018, 2019. You guys see me trade shit coins and make money off them, but you will never see me hold one. And it's because I have standards. My God, look at this shit. It hasn't even reclaimed the highs of 2018 yet. Absolutely bloody horrible performance, horrible. And we've seen it turn into strong resistance across 2022 and this year in 2023 as well. But recently, if we look at this, especially since I entered my trade on Tron, we have seen some really nice moves up in terms of strength. We've went all the way up to the 330 Satoshi level, back down to 290, coming off some very low levels here. Getting close to doubling, like a 75% move to the upside here for TRX on this chart, which is absolutely fantastic here. Definitely showing some nicer strength here, some real opportunity that could be on the horizon. So if we do start to see Tron getting back up into this top band of resistance, this low 300 range, 300 to 330 Satoshis, then I think it's worth paying attention. If this breakout does come, that'll be the first real breakout Tron would have had since 2019. And we have had fake outs. We've had a number of fake outs, obviously, all throughout. How many fake outs do you have until the real breakout comes? You know what I mean? So that is something which I would keep in mind. Obviously, this is more of a fundamental question. Will this coin actually be strong enough to move up? And I don't know, and I don't care. I am literally just here to make money. But the technical chart looks good, even, especially against the dollar. Look at this against the dollar. It's absolutely fantastic. And by the way, this is why I tell you guys that the Ethereum price for Bitcoin against Bitcoin is more important. It's because, yes, you would have made a lot of money on Tron against the dollar, but you would have been better off if you held Bitcoin, which is the crazy part. And a lot of people forget that, but at the end of the day, if you do keep in mind that you are here to make money, not to, get in a, fucking circle jerk session with a bunch of Discord users that are part of your, community for a coin, if you're realistic about why you're here, then you'll make sure that you position yourself to make money instead of to, be a bag holder for a shit coin. Then you're stuck underwater for 2 to 3 years and so on. It's just horrible. We don't need to be there. But I'm very happy with how the position has been going on. You guys have seen my trade updates. Obviously, here's a screenshot of my Bitcoin trade from a couple of days ago. We are basically at the same price level, so I'm basically still at 700% profit on this trade, which is fucking insane. Absolutely ridiculously amazing. Obviously, we've also got that Tron trade that I mentioned to you guys, sitting at about 350% profit now. Bam, right here. Absolutely beautiful. That's 285, but the screenshot was taken when Tron was much lower than right now. So very happy with how this position has been going on. Obviously, I made both of those trades on Bybit, which remains my primary exchange in these crypto markets. So that is definitely something which I think is quite cool. If we do go back to Bitcoin and talk about why Bitcoin might actually drop, this is where I think things get really interesting. And it's to do with this first chart that I showed you. This is one of the key ideas I wanted to explore with you in today's video, which is that Bitcoin has actually done this pattern many times now throughout this year. We've done it 1, 2, 3 times already on a macro scale. And that's a lot, in my opinion, because we haven't actually done that much this year. This year we really only had, the pump from the mid 15, the mid 10,000s up to, 24K. And then we had the move from 20K up to, 30. more or less in one leg, and then we just went sideways. I mean, there was really only like 3-4 blocks of price action that Bitcoin actually had this year, which means that if you can spot a pattern in this year's price action, and even if you only have, like I've shown you here, only have 3 instances of the same thing happening, well, 3 is a lot considering that we only had, basically 2-3 big macro moves in the whole chart anyway. And I think that's really important to preface this conversation with, because it's a big deal. We've been showing these bearish divergences on this Bitcoin chart all throughout the year where the price is trending up, but the RSI on the daily time frame is trending down. And the reason that that's important is when the price keeps on moving up, but the RSI starts trending down, well, that tells us that the relative strength index is trending down. Well, that's what the RSI strength stands for. So if the relative strength of the market is dropping, well, that's telling you that the market is getting weaker. You're having less strength. Well, an absence of strength means weakness. And when we've got a weakness in the market while the price keeps on rising up, then, you can fill in the blank. It's pretty obvious. It basically means that the market is getting ready to topple over. It means that the market is losing strength. It means that the market might start to reverse soon. And that's exactly what we saw. We saw that 3 times. But what's really interesting is that each of those times, we also saw roughly a 20% drop to the downside. The first occasion here took 19 days for Bitcoin to drop by 22%. The next occasion here, 18 days to drop by, 60 days to drop by 18%, and then 40 days to drop by 19.5%. So, very much in line with each of these dumps here, these dumps being in line with each other here. Yes, of course, different time frames, not that matters, and each of them being triggered by the same pattern. And Bitcoin is doing the same. Bitcoin is doing the exact same thing right now. We are setting higher highs, but we're doing it slowly, and our strength in the market, our relative strength, is clearly decreasing, which could definitely be an indication that things are about to get a little bit ugly for Bitcoin. And again, where does that 20% drop put us at? Well, that's going to drop us down by $7,500 and down to, from our current price level, that is going to put us basically right back at the $30,000 range again. So that's absolutely fantastic. That, again, when we're looking for confluence, when we're looking for various different things in the market to show us the same, give us the same conclusions, well, that is absolutely fantastic. You couldn't get anything better. We've got Ichimoku support down here. We've got Fibonacci support down here. We've got probably weekly EMA ribbon support down here. Let's actually give that a check because I haven't looked at that recently. We'll look at this on a random chart that I haven't got many drawings on. We're gonna have weekly EMA support there. I don't know, maybe in a month. I mean, and I don't know how quickly this drop would come either, so that's not a problem. We've got a lot going for Bitcoin if Bitcoin manages to fall down there. And the best thing of all of that is that we're probably going to wipe out a lot of those positions that are long, and we're going to start to reset these fear and greed indexes. I don't know if you call them indices or indexes in this context, but whatever. We're going to start to reset them a little bit, and we're going to see a little bit less greed and maybe even a little bit more fear, especially if the market does drop down there. You got to keep in mind that the people in this market now are almost like summer children, in that, you haven't seen any real shit in the market now for an entire 70-day period, because this measurement tool doesn't count the first candle. So for an entire 70-day period, that's over 2 months, there hasn't been anything shit going on. Bitcoin had small retracements that scared a few people that were stupid, but really nothing big, nothing bad at all. And now we're looking at a situation where we could be seeing the first big drop for Bitcoin in a while. And that definitely, to me, makes a lot of sense. That definitely puts Bitcoin in a good position as far as I'm concerned, the way I'm seeing things in this market. I mean, again, it's the daily Ichimoku cloud. That's, one of the things that's just so damn convincing about this. It really does make sense. People wanted a bearish September. People wanted a bearish October. You got neither of those things, you fucking plebs. And now we're potentially gearing up to have a bearish end of November and even a bearish December. Every single fucking cunt that was trying to do their monthly Bitcoin analysis using, Bitcoin was bullish on Decembers and bearish on Octobers historically, so maybe the same thing's going to happen again, just relying on that, hiding behind it like it's their mother's skirt. those people are exposed, left naked in the water right now, looking like absolute idiots. And it's actually going the other way around. I couldn't think of anything more poetic, to be honest. I mean, you know, when you get stupid people coming up with stupid theories but feeling happy and smart about it, you know, that's when you're gonna come onto Fourflies' YouTube channel, and I'm gonna be disproving that shit and telling you why it's stupid in real time. And then when the thing actually happens, I'll come back and tell you, yeah, those people were stupid, don't pay attention to them next time. You know, because a lot of people, you know, you forgive and forget too easily. But you know, when you're looking for analysis, you got to look for analysis from people with sound strategies, with sound processes, because otherwise you're just gonna keep on, you know, falling into the same traps every time. Don't do that to yourself, bro. That's my take there. So, you know, that's something which I think is very compelling and very exciting. Now, the big problem that I have with these ideas is that, like I said at the beginning of the video, a lot of smart people seem to be saying the same thing. And we know why, right? Like, I mean, if we zoom out and we look at this on the daily time frame, it's like I said, we expected strong resistance at the top of this green box here. We knew that this was going to happen on this YouTube channel way before the move even happened in the first place. We knew that this was going to be the case. In fact, if you've been watching me since 2022, you'd know that this was a price level that I was watching since way back then too. You know what I mean? These are not new price levels for us to be interested in at. So to be interested at. English is hard today. And so naturally we're getting this top at 37.5, 30k. It's not 38k. It's not that surprising, you know, and I think that's why a lot of people are also starting to think that, yeah, this is where a potential top comes in. You know, a lot of people saying Bitcoin looks heavy, for example. Well, you know, I just want to point out that all of these concerns about Bitcoin looking weak, you know, will be dispelled if Bitcoin does something even just like this. You know, like if Bitcoin just trades sideways like this, that's going to start to make this chart look better. Of course, if Bitcoin manages to get a deeper correction, you know, let's say a deviation down to here, we don't quite hit 31k, and then we start trading sideways in a range like this. I mean, you know, that is so damn healthy for Bitcoin. We'll end up, you know, forming some sort of an ascending triangle, and then bam, you know, I mean, there's so many ways that the chart can make this bullish. So, you know, while people are scared and they're thinking that everything moves up and down in a straight line, I just want to remind you guys that that's not necessarily how it works. I mean, this could very well be the beginning of a, you know, much larger, I mean, look at this. You're going to tell me that the market would be bearish if we did something like this? Get the fuck out of here, man. Like, obviously this would be super strong for the market to be forming some sort of an ascending triangle at this area of resistance. So, you know, it's like I said, a lot of people are starting to see problems with this range, and I can understand why. But one of the big concerns I have with this is the traditional finance space. You know, if we look at the S&P 500, today is a Tuesday, and yes, we've got, you know, 1 or 2 hours left, 3 hours left of this index to continue trading. But I mean, look at the way it gapped up today. I mean, just an absolutely huge move. Monday yesterday was a bullish candle anyway. I mean, it did open a little bit lower, but it was a bullish candle. The last entire week was massively bullish, and the week before that was very bullish too. You know, if I'm, yeah, I am looking at this correctly. I mean, it's been a strong, you know, 2.5 weeks for the S&P 500 here. From the low to the high, up by 9% in 18 days is absolutely insane. It is huge for the S&P 500 to pull that kind of move off in this market condition, you know, and that definitely means that we could be in for some much nicer upside for the S&P 500. In fact, if you are watching my YouTube videos, you're going to remember just recently that I was talking about how the S&P 500 was, and really, to be honest, still is, in the exact same position that Bitcoin was in back in 2017, where we topped out at 20K, we rallied up again, and then we rallied up one final time up to 17K in the exact same pattern. We had a high, followed by something in the middle, followed by a higher high, and then the market collapsed down to 6K. Now, I didn't say that that's what the S&P 500 would do, but I did point out that that was the exact setup that the S&P 500 was playing into, but we have come out of it, and that is absolutely fantastic. In fact, we've done the best thing I could have asked for on this chart, and it is what I was hoping that would happen anyway. was that we came back down to this area of support. This area of support that has been active as an area of interest for the market since April of 2021, that we've managed to use as massive support after huge quick flash crashes. And then we also flipped into resistance throughout 2022 and 2023. I mean, it couldn't be better, ladies and gents. We flipped that area again into support, and we've seen a major rally up. Now, if we manage to reclaim these next two highs, you better kiss any bear hypothesis you have goodbye, at least the way, as far as I'm concerned, because this index is looking very strong right now. And if we start to sweep these highs after already reclaiming the highs that we have, and after already resetting our old area of support, which turned into resistance, which is now support again, or whatever the case may be, now that we've actually managed to use that all as support again, we are in a strong position right now with the S&P 500. And the flip side to this is that the dollar has finally made a decision, and it has fallen down. The dollar has fallen down rapidly, harshly. This one daily drop is the biggest single daily drop that the dollar has seen in quite some time. If we measure this from high to our current point, which is also our low and also our close, the dollar is down by 1.5% just today. And if we measure that up against some of the other big sessions for the dollar, it's not like what we've seen recently. We have seen big moves over the last, over this year, but not coming close to 1.5% within one day. All of the biggest negative bearish candles that you see do not come close. This was the best one, the closest example, and this was right at the end of 2022 in November. So, really not the best place for the dollar right now. I mean, when that move happened, the dollar slid way lower. That's not to say that we're going to do the same thing again, but it looks very clear that the dollar has picked a direction, at least for now. And if that direction does continue to move to the downside, then I have to expect that traditional finance is going to be in a very strong position. And this is the pinch of salt that I also wanted to give you with this massive bear hypothesis right now. I don't necessarily subscribe to either one of these theories, and the good news is that I don't have to. The only thing I'm interested in doing is making money, and I can do that by trading the market on a shorter time frame than these big macro ideas. They're very hard to get right. Most people won't get them right, and most people won't make any money in the process of trying as well. That's why I'm not in that business. However, the pinch of salt that we've got to keep in mind in order to have a realistic, well-rounded view of what the market is showing us right now is that if traditional finance continues to show a lot of strength, specifically indices like the S&P 500 and so on, and the dollar continues to get weaker, well, I have to expect that that's going to put Bitcoin in a stronger position than where it is right now. And the thing about this is that the S&P 500 has moved up by so much now that you almost have to start expecting a correction, and if the S&P 500 starts to correct back down to this area of support, maybe get some support off here, that would be absolutely great. But that would mean a potential climb back, a bounce back for the dollar, at least only on the short term, and that would probably also mean that Bitcoin does continue to pull back. So that's something I'm going to keep an eye on. The correlation between Bitcoin and traditional finance isn't as clear these days as it used to be, even just earlier this year. And I think a big part of that is because Bitcoin has just woken up and gone a little bit stronger. But that doesn't mean I'm going to ignore it. That doesn't mean I'm going to pretend like it wasn't there already. And I'm still going to take it into account because I still think that it's a factor that's going to weigh on the market. Having exceptions doesn't disprove the rule. We all know that very well by now. So this is something that I'm going to continue to be watching out for in this market. And I'm also going to be scanning it to see where some positions to trade might become available. Now, the really good news is that because we're starting to see these pullbacks, because we're even actually starting to see bigger pullbacks on the altcoin market, whether it's Ethereum or some of the other altcoins that have rallied really hard recently, because we're starting to, by the way, look at XRP. I've got to laugh at you XRP noobs for just a second because this was ridiculous. This move right here where everybody thought that, I don't even know what it was. There was some random, look at this shit, guys. Absolutely insane. Absolutely. It's so XRP. It's so, I wouldn't expect anything more from XRP, and from its dumb traders, than for this kind of setup to how do you call to manifest itself on the chart. This is exactly what I would expect. Now that we are starting to see some pullbacks that are a little bit deeper across the altcoin market, I think that might put us in a position to start seeing some really nice trade opportunities opening up. When I entered this massive trade on Tron that you guys haven't been able to stop hearing about, it was on a red day. I mean, this is where I like to buy. I like to buy things when they're down, and I like to sell them when they're high. I know it sounds revolutionary, but that is my approach as a trader. And so when we're in these uptrends and we start to get these red days, this is actually where the opportunities do start to present themselves, and it's where I start to get quite excited as a trader as well, because that means that I'm about to start making some money. So again, these exchanges are giving you beautiful bonuses to take advantage of that. They're giving you huge amounts of capital that you get just by trading using my link down below, or in some cases barely doing anything at all, just opening a futures account using my link down below, and you get all of this free cash to trade with. These bonuses in most cases are going to be credited to you within 24 hours. If you guys ever have a problem with any exchange I've ever worked with, then please directly contact me on Telegram, and I will personally sort out your problem with pleasure. We've done it a couple times in the past. It doesn't happen often, obviously, but when it has happened and you guys have come to us, we've always resolved your issues quickly, and it's always going to be that way. So thank you guys for the support. Obviously, checking out these links and using these exchanges that I'm telling you guys about does help the channel out, and you get some really cool offers for it as well at the same time. BingX for traditional finance, obviously a very, very exciting shout, because you've got access to beautiful stock markets like the Tesla stock market and so on as well, which is really, really cool. All right, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. You know what to do. If you have, make sure that you subscribe, tick the bell, hit the like button, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.